Boom! Back again. I'm driving quite a distance, traveling back from Coimbra, going home to my little hometown. So, last conclusion, which was my own proposal that I made. Knowledge is information that you understand. There's a lot more involved than just saying knowledge is information that you understand. So the next phase now, I reckon, is getting on down with, right? So, what is information and what is understanding? Understanding in some way is also knowledge. I reckon understanding, we can start talking about, practical knowledge. But that's a whole other video. Understanding. I want to talk about information. So the way I see it is, when we hear information, we think, okay, news, what's in the newspaper, or textbooks, information over there that you can go and reference. What's on TV, somebody's doing a documentary or information in a video like this that's on YouTube. If you really go right down to the very essence of information, I propose that, information is nothing more or less than just signal, frequency, vibration, moving around us. We, human beings, or anything that is alive, animals, even plants, man, you're kind of like an antenna. You got receptors that pick up these vibrations, whether it be light vibrations or sound vibrations or touch vibrations. You're just like an antenna, really, picking up these frequencies. And then these frequencies get translated and deciphered in the brain. There's a physical function happening there in the brain. Neurons are firing up, and oh man, it's a beautiful thing to really think about. But then from there, there's a part of it all that becomes the abstract, which is that information that has been understood in the mind. Dun dun da 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 dun. That information now happens in the mind. This then brings me to the next thing about information. I'm going to do another video eventually, and this video that I'm going to do is going to be called Situations, Momentum. In one of my previous videos, I said, happen to the situation. You can follow the link if you want to go have a look at that video. I just had this epiphany about emotions, and also what it comes down to is just, situations in general. And I say that, you get many different types of situations, but I personally narrow it down to two categories of situations. You get yourself, which is a situation, everything that is happening within your very being, your bodily functions, everything that is happening within you is situation number one. And then everything else that's happening around you is the world that happens as situation number two. So everything happens to you first inside. You happen to yourself before the world happens to you. Now this is quite complicated to think about, maybe. I will do a more planned video with a bit of explanation about where I'm going with this information and all. But I kind of want to, like I said in my previous video, I kind of want to just make sure that the words that I'm using, these labels that I'm using, what I mean by these labels. I'm not going to regurgitate other people's research and work. I'm venturing into a whole new avenue for my own reasons, and I'm sharing my ideas with folks. Now, when I talk about this with information, I suppose some people, I'm kind of guessing some people might start throwing out a question mark, like around being a realist or an idealist. It's an interesting area to think about if you want to go and talk about information. Like information in its abstract, the idea of words. Now, in the physical reality, there's just like a solid object, which is paper, And on that solid object, there's these squiggles. And that's realism, that's realistic, that's reality. But the idea is that, that paper represents something, comes from something, and then those squiggles symbolize sounds that you make, okay? So information in its actual physical essence and then information in its idealistic essence, okay? It might be a bit confusing, but, I'm throwing this out there. And I got to say that idealism and realism, I don't like to compare the two. I don't like to say whether I am one or the other, because I honestly believe that neither can exist without each other. You can't have idealism if there is no reality, and you can't have reality if there is no idealism. Now, it's a big question raiser, eyebrow lifter. People probably going, what? I kind of like to throw it out like this. What's the point in the existence of reality if it can't be witnessed? Now, what's the point in the existence of the ideas, the idealism, if it doesn't have something physical to rest upon and to contain it? It's like that tree sitting in a forest wanting to be heard when it falls over and makes a noise. Information. Make of it what you wish. What you make of it is how you understand it, and it's not necessarily going to be the same way that somebody else understands it. And then that starts bringing us into another area, which is perspective, that I've spoken about. You can't tell someone, you need to change your perspective if someone doesn't really have a proper understanding of what perspective is and what is all entailed in that perspective. Because perspective is not just how you look at something or what you think about something. It's got a lot of feeling and emotion involved in it there as well. It's got a lot of interest and desire and disinterest, and it's quite interesting information. How do you take that physical and turn it into an idea that can be valuable to someone else? So what is information really? So I'm going to do another little video about this. I like this idea. It's something nice to think about, actually. Makes you think, so everything that you're watching, movies on the big screen and everything, what's the real information you're getting from that? Yeah, storytelling, yes, something to play on the imagination and all. But there's still information in that. That information is doing something. It is having an effect. Something that is just a vibration that's literally bouncing off of you. But once, just in that moment when it touches you and bounces away, in that moment, it's attached to you. It's attached something to you. It's something that's there in the physical brain and then in the abstract mind. We have a very deep conversation about this. I'm really enjoying this. Let me know what you think about that, folks. I would love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear what ideas you have. Until next time, cheers.